All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. We are in the middle of book reads and book interviews for the summer blitzes, and we're pausing to bring in the epic admin group. Some of the admin group. We're missing a few people, but we got an epic admin group from the Indie Fantasy Addict Facebook group. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad that you're on. How are you doing?
We're great. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
It's exciting.
Channeling my inner Bridgerton today.
Thank you for coming today. Oh, so it's so good to have you on, and we have some people tuning in on Twitter and on YouTube. We're doing this live, so that if you have questions about the summer reading challenge, which is what we're going to be talking about, you can drop them in the chat, and I will pull them up on the screen for the admins. Just this. Hey, Eva. Hey, Amanda. All right. So, sort of to kick us off, why don't you guys, whoever wants to jump in first can take it, tell us a little bit about Indie Fantasy Addicts, what the group is, what sort of the mentality of the group is, because while everybody here, I believe, is an author, it really is a reader, it's a group for people who want to read indie fantasy books.
Yeah. I guess I'll kick us off and then I'll open it up to anyone else. But Indie Fantasy Addicts is just like you said, it's a very reader focused group for people to come and love on indie fantasy. And we have been going strong for about 6 years now. I've been in the group for about 5 years as president. And it just keeps growing, and the right alongside our TBR piles, because the number of reviews and recommendations in there every day are just phenomenal. We have really phenomenal readers.
Yeah, and so was the SRC something that the Summer Reading Challenge for short for people who are joining, was that always part of Indie Fantasy Addicts? Was it something that came up later?
That was something that I believe Angel Hayes started almost at the conception, and it started as kind of this smaller thing with like back when the group had like 500 or 1,000 readers in it, and then it has just grown and grown and grown to be this like huge, happy, monstrous thing that we have.
So, Rachel, you played a pivotal part in this from the start, and I'm newer. This is only my third year being a part of all of this. But how did the rest of you get plugged into Fantasy Addicts and especially the adminning? I know a lot of you are authors, like I said before, so you're writing and you're reading, and now you're adminning.
So I was actually here before Rachel was, even though by the way that she immediately jumped in, it's clear to see what role she fills in the group, which is the dynamo and driving force. The rest of us just kind of figure out how to make Rachel's dreams and visions come to life.
It is true. I started 5 years ago when a reader invited me in, and I came in just as like a baby author. And then that's the great thing about IFA is there were just more and more opportunities to get involved. And yeah, now I took it all over.
I'm not saying she usurped the existing regime, but as those of us who are from the old regime have to be very careful about what we say.
Oh, you're so crazy.
We are very glad to have her. There is no war in Bossing, say.
Actually, what it used to be was poor Angel kind of like doing
everything.
She did everything. And so like there were people on as mods, but it was kind of like the Angel Hayes show, and she was so swamped. And so that's actually kind of how I came on was, Angel, what can I do? You're doing too much. And like in there with like a mop and bucket trailing behind her.
So you came on after Andy. So Andy, you were already there wielding the hammer, I'm guessing.
Yeah, basically I enforce all the rules, which basically means telling authors, hey, don't only talk about your books here. That's literally like 99% of my job. But it is also, like getting people talking about other books that they love, which has been really, really fun. It doesn't even feel like a job most days. We'll say that.
Yeah, yeah. And it really is, it's a great place for authors who want to read and dive into sharing what they love about other books, for sure. How about you, Liz? How did you get plugged in?
I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago. I must have just randomly stumbled on the group and I just loved the vibe. And I think, honestly, I think it's because we have Andy and all the mods enforcing these rules, keeping it all about reading, because lots of places can turn into just promo and nobody wants to look at that all day. So great place. And I think I probably got on the general radar a little more when there was a logo design competition. And I entered like 3 logo chances and one of them won. And I was really like thrilled that it won. So that was really fun. And very recently, I was asked to be on the admin team. So I get to help with techie things and running a book club. So
Yeah, and Liz is jumping in 2 feet. You may be recent, but you're helping. We were saying before we went live, helping Allegra with all the points that go into making the challenge awesome. And for people who are hearing about the challenge for the first time, essentially, you get points for reading books, indie books specifically, and then those points turn into prizes at the end of the year. And there's a lot of tracking that goes into that. So thank you for what you do.
yeah, I am a huge like spreadsheet and forms nerd, so it just happened to fit really well.
Yeah, yeah. How about you, Jen? Oh, you're muted.
I was afraid I had feedback, so I muted
We can
myself
hear
and then
you.
forgot,
Yay.
which that's me. I'm the space cadet. So I, speaking of which, cannot honestly remember how I ended up in IFA. But it's been a while. It's been like since 2020, and I was a lurker for the longest time. And then I don't know, a few years ago, it used to be that it was kind of like anybody could volunteer to set up a team, and it was very like Wild West. And I volunteered to captain a team a couple times, and it was just the summer reading challenge is probably my favorite part of IFA, and so I always get really enthusiastic this time of year. And I think maybe Rachel noticed. She was like, "Here, come do this with us." So that's my story.
Both so David, Liz, Jen, our other they all came on because kind of like me in the beginning, they were there, but then they kind of found their voice and they became more and more active, and they were so supportive and just really, really like positive dynamic forces in the group. And so one by one, I think it was me who was like, "Hey, our group is growing. We need more help on the admin team," because yeah, it was very Wild West. And so yeah, we pulled all of them on for being the awesome people they are.
Oh, so David, did you get hooked, or were you here early?
I wasn't here early. No, I don't remember how or where I found. I think I was invited by someone. I think someone reviewed one of my books and was like, "Come and join this group." So I did, and I'm an admin because there's an unwritten rule that says that there must be one bald admin at all times. So I replaced the last bald admin.
That means in about 6 to 12 months, David, you're out.
I'm gone. Yeah.
This is a wig, actually. So
It's sort of like IFA is run by lizard people, but bald people, and it's secretly. I like this.
It's like the second Planet of the Apes film, when they find all the psychics and they pull the things off and they're all bald. That's what it's like. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I can't really. But yeah, it was good. It was nice. It was refreshing to find a group that wasn't just like drive-by promo from people. Because a lot of Facebook groups are like that. All it is just links and links and links and links to people,
Yeah.
So it was nice and just to actually find things to read, because I like I don't know how much. I think I prefer reading to writing. I think so. It was nice to find
most days, yes.
Yeah. So it was nice to find lots of places that had things that were, people actually reading stuff and recommending them and saying why you should go and read these kind of things. So I think it was just before the summer reading challenge 3 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. See other people reading it, especially once you pick up on which members read like what you like, then you go, oh, what did they find? What did they like? It means more than an author dropping their link in there. So for people who are new and watching about this for the first time, can you give us a gist? The summer reading challenge is starting this week, right? So we're down to days. So can you give us a gist of what they would be doing, how they'd sign up, and really essentially what to look forward to over the next couple months?
Well, they would join the Indie Fantasy Addicts Facebook group to start. And you don't have to join a team. You could just read and review books as an individual and log your points on like a point sheet that Allegra and Liz will be maintaining. Or the more fun way to do it, in my opinion, is to join one of the groups, which will be led by 2 admins each, where you can get like bonus points and stuff. But that's the gist. Like, I'll let the other admins chime in, but like, you read books, you share your thoughts with the hashtag IFA Summer Challenge 24. You log your points, and then we have like literally hundreds of prizes to give people for reading books. Even if you only read 1 or 2 books like the entire summer, that's no problem. There's still a space for you.
And it's free, which is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Like,
that's really the best part.
Get rewarded for reading, potentially walk away with more books. It's amazing.
I think some people get like a little overwhelmed because, especially if you come in just for the summer reading challenge, it's a little chaotic and you see people talking about all these things and adventure wheel and stuff. I think that's another reason it's good to join one of the side groups, is because it's easier to get your questions answered. But I think the thing that I would hope people remember is, though, even though it seems really competitive, it really isn't. It's just about finding books that you like and walking away from the reading challenge having read a bunch and not reduced your TBR at all.
Yeah. Well, so when she says it's not competitive, that is a whole corner of IFA that are just there for the fun. For some of us, it is like life or death, like points or die. Yeah. I'm super competitive.
That's true. Some people take it seriously, Andy.
Last year was the first year. Last year was the first year that I got any kind of points because I was finally back in a reading group. And so this year I've already got both adventure wheels planned out. I've got a stack of books, like 40 high, to get through, hopefully, by the end of July. But for those of you who have a competitive nature, you can come and you can really just read to win.
There's some people, if this is your first year, there is some people you'll be absolutely blown away by how fast they can read. And, just marvel at them and just go, they are a different type of person, possibly a different type of human.
I think there's something called hyperlexia that 1 or 2 people in the group have.
Yeah, and I think it's just like, just enjoy them enjoying 1,000 page book a day. It's amazing, and just I think that's the main thing, is just to go at your own pace. It's good to have that little bit of competitiveness, I think, if you are that way inclined, but you're going to be able to get loads of amazing prizes just from reading a handful of books in the summer, even 3 or 4 books, especially if you kind of be a bit strategic with it and go after kind of the featured reads and stuff like that, because you get bonus points and it can mean that you're getting some good prizes that way.
Yeah, we even came up with like this adventurer wheel that has, I don't remember how many shots. Is it 12? I should know. I made it. 12. But there's...
I've planned out 3 reads of it so far on a spreadsheet.
Perfect. Yeah, it was Andy and I kind of came up with it to get people to read outside of their comfort zone. And so it's like 12 different subgenres, and you can read 1 book from each of the subgenres. There's like there's dark, there's humorous, there's romantic, there's like all sorts of stuff. But once you complete the full wheel, you get like 500 bonus points, which is awesome. And then you complete a second one for 250 bonus points. Then after that, like every wheel you finish is an entry into this raffle at the end. That's great. We put a lot of thought and time and graphics into the summer reading challenge.
I'm just impressed that a cat can read, actually. Little kitty reading a book in 6 days. That's amazing. I didn't know cats could read, so.
Oh, the comment. Yeah.
That's impressive. Gilded Bug, like not just one book, the whole saga in 6 days.
That's amazing. I'm honored. Thanks, Kitty.
And I think the wheel is fantastic, and it really is different approaches to it going about this, because I'm not on the admin team. I'm here as a reader. And last year I looked at that. I was like, there's no way I'm going to find enough books for all of these. And I didn't know there was a nifty little spreadsheet that has like the books by genre. So this year I know. So I spent the last week or so going, you know what? I never really read this subgenre. Let me go plug some in. I'm going to try something new this year. It's encouraging.
It's great, and I think the thing that I love most about the summer reading challenge, about IFA as a group, is that it's all about readers, right? It's readers first and foremost. Everything we've done, all the myriad rules that we've set up, is just to keep it focused on readers, because I've been in so many Facebook groups, that start off as being about fantasy, and it's, it ends up being a bazillion buy my book posts. I leave all those groups. IFA is the one group that has not degenerated into that, because of how on top of it we are in doing things like this. But then it's all about finding new people or reading books that you would never read. Case in point, last year I read Rachel's Gilded Blood series. Never in my life would have picked it up had I not needed those points, and ended up loving it. So it's kind of like, or this year I've already got 3 new to me authors that I'm reading through right now, and then 2 more coming up next. I may like it, I may not, but I'm giving them a try. And who knows, I may fall in love with a new author's style of storytelling, and there you go. So that's what the IFA, the Summer Reading Challenge, is all about. But it's all year long. It's all about giving new authors a chance to have somewhere to talk about their books, but in a controlled environment where it doesn't get chaotic and annoying.
Yeah. I gotta say though, you and David and Becky broke my heart having to pick between y'all's teams. I was devastated. I was like, I'm betraying one or the other no matter which way I go.
It's okay. There's been lots of betrayals already. It's not even started.
Did you make the right choice though?
I think so. I'm in the Earth Dragons, which is,
the wrong
winning team. The winning team this year.
I was in Becky's team last year, and I love you, Becky, if you're watching. But it's like, okay, I gotta pick something.
See, we didn't waste our energy. We didn't waste our energy on hashtags. We are saving it all. Instead of coming up with a cutesy, clever hashtag like Glitter Fart Mafia. Like, no. That energy is going into reading and racking up those points.
Little kitty.
Oh, but there's 4 teams.
Team Wet and Wild all the way.
For the new people.
Well, we figured out a different hashtag for our team, didn't we? Which we possibly could use, but it was pretty good as well, wasn't it?
I think
Wet and Wild, right?
No, I think we were maybe talking about the water nymphos. Hey, Liz, you should tell us about the book guild that you're going to be leading for the summer challenge.
Sure. We don't have a super entertaining hashtag for the book guild. However, it is a new thing for IFA overall. So it's the IFA's book club. And during the summer reading challenge, we're going to be reading that month's featured reads. So this month for June, we already started reading the June featured reads. And the book guild is, all you have to do is show up for 3 posts in IFA and just comment on them. And I ask like questions about what we're reading, and you just have to comment on them. And then at the end of the month, in order to not make people's TBRs even worse, I decided to give away different types of prizes for this. So we do printable bookmarks and a cute little digital badge. So each month I design like a little badge and stuff that matches that month's theme. So for the summer reading challenge, I get to like mash together 3 books each month to make the designs. So that'll be fun. But this month we're reading, let's see if I can remember off the top of my head, Birthrights by David Trotter, Cruel Gods by Trudy Skies, and
Blood of the Stars.
Corinne Norton's Blood of the Stars. So those 3, they all happen to be blue. So I don't know if we did that on purpose, but I wanted to say we were doing blue books this month. So
I try when I make the graphics for them. I do try and do that. It didn't work so well for July, but you know, Andy was talking about how it's really like reader centric and we don't have like a lot of author promo, but we do, whenever we can, try and find ways to support our more active authors in the group. And like doing featured reads is one where, you know, you can get more points for reading their books. We also have weekly games that the authors run where they can like mention their books. So we definitely try and find ways to incorporate the authors in there as well without it feeling overwhelming or like not a safe place for the readers.
I think one of my favorite things that we did to change the challenge last year was to introduce the debut author category, which I think it was really, really important to do because obviously, like we've all at various different stages of like publishing books, but we've all been at the start where it's kind of like, how do you get anyone to read these things, right? And you know, there is, as Andy mentioned before, there's so many groups that are just descend into this just links, and it just becomes so hard to kind of navigate. So I think that we not only do we like cultivate a list of debut authors for each year for people to kind of look through, to actually have that as for the people that want to be competitive and want to do the adventurers reel, that we have an actual category that is just for a debut author. That's the first thing that I'm going to read each year, is someone from the debut authors category, because I think it's just a great way just to kind of highlight some of these people that are coming in and reading and taking part and being active in the group, and kind of helping them out at the start of their writing journeys.
That's great. And what are the key dates before I forget? When does it start? When does it end?
First day of summer, last day of summer. It's starting already.
It's today, right now.
Midnight June 21st to midnight September 21st, local time, because we are an international group. Which is funny because the summer reading challenge is actually winter reading challenge for our Southern Hemisphere friends. But you know how we Americans are. We just plow through everybody and make it about us.
So but the mayhem has already started in a way, because those featured book club reads for this month count for the challenge, even if you've already started them. So like nudge, nudge, hint, hint, fellow readers, go start reading a couple, and then we can post it on day one and act like we have our game together, right? For the authors who are participating, and not just the readers who want to participate as readers for the challenge, how do you guys suggest going about leaving reviews? Because there's sort of a format that you see in IFA where people put, you know, the book type and the title and the author, and then how many stars they would give it or whatever rating they do, and then a little bit about the blurb and then their opinions. But with so much discussion really these days about should indie authors review their peers, what is sort of the admin's team's preference, if you have one, on how that's done?
I'd love to have Jen talk about the review format, because she actually just posted something about that today. But just the quick comment on authors reviewing other authors' stuff. I think it's kind of the tacit understanding in the industry that if it's less than 4 stars, you don't want to harm that author's career in any way. And your 2-star review might be someone else's 5-star review. So I personally don't leave less than 4 stars for another author. But maybe you guys have other opinions on that.
Yeah, I basically, if I didn't like it, I don't review it. And if the author wants to know, has asked me specifically to read it, and I've not reviewed it, and they ask me, then I'll So I'll tell them why, even though I don't really like confrontation, but I'll just be like, okay, here's why. Yeah, if I don't like it, I won't review it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'll read through the book for the points. And then if I'm not into it for whatever reason, I just chalk it up to just not being my style of book. And like, it's rare. I don't think that I've read a single book that was actively bad of all the books that I've read for the summer reading challenge. It was just not my thing. So it's like, well, don't leave a negative review. Don't, because it's as an author and especially as an admin of the group, and the same for everybody here, there is a certain degree of clout that we have to be careful to use correctly. If David comes out and says, hey, as the admin of IFA, I publicly did not like this book, it's a little hard for people to be like, okay, I'll give that a try anyways. So it's just, sometimes it's better to keep quiet, and that's okay. We're trying to help people, not set them back.
We actually have a rule about DNFs now. We let DNF means, did not finish, where we implemented that last year, where if you didn't finish a book, you don't have to leave a review. But Jen, I'll let you talk about that.
All right, let me know if you get feedback. Andy was mean to me, and now I don't want to talk. But anyway,
he's mean to literally everyone.
So we have basic guidelines in IFA for a review. There's some things we don't want to see. We don't want to see people copy paste the book blurb. We don't want you to be like, I loved it or I hated it, but give nothing more concrete than that. And we don't like it when it's just a link to Goodreads or Amazon reviews. And we also do not want like a summary. We don't need a play-by-play of the book. So what we would like to see is like 3 of things like who was your favorite character and why, what did you like, or what was your favorite part of the story or aspect of the theme, that kind of thing. Maybe a short summary of the plot, like a sentence or 2, but again, not a copy paste. Maybe compare it to something else you've read. People love if you like this, you'll like that. Something in the book that you would have liked to see more of or less of. We also love art and GIFs and images, scenes, that kind of stuff. So just a little bit of substance. We aren't looking for a dissertation, but something that gives us an idea of your opinion and why. And then we do like to see images of the book's cover. That helps people a lot. I think a lot of people are really visual that way. And then we do like hashtags in the group, especially during the summer reading challenge. You want to tag it with the IFA summer reading challenge 24 tag. And then typically we'll also do our group. Your group's going to have the hashtag. The best one is ours, Glitter Fart Mafia. And then, if you want to do trigger warnings, everybody always appreciates that. So it's pretty, when you put it all together, it sounds really intense, but I feel like it's pretty common sense. Just a little bit about why you like the book or didn't like the book, what some of your favorite or least favorite aspects were, and let us know, what it looks like so we can find it, that kind of thing. And as for DNFs, which you guys talked about, is you can count the pages you read, but they're not eligible for bonus points or the adventure wheel that we were talking about. And you don't have to review a DNF. In fact, if you've only read a little bit of it, like 10% or so, it's probably better not to review it at all, because you're going to be underinformed about what the book was about anyway. And I think that's about it.
Yeah, and there's some really good in-depth posts I've been sharing on the screen for the Twitter people. But if you're watching on YouTube, you go down to the description box, you can click the IFA group. Check out the pinned posts. And yes, there's a lot of them, but they are worth reading. One of them gives you bonus points to kick off the challenge. Every single Earth Dragon should have bonus points. I've made that my personal mission. But go through and just check those out. It has things like the reviews. It's got the video on how to track points. all this stuff that the team spent so much time on. So
Can I just put on my communications person's hat to hide my unsightly baldness as well? I don't actually have a hat hander. Should have one. It's downstairs. Jen just disappeared as well because of it. So with reviews as well, we do get some people, particularly on the first year, they get a little bit worried about reviewing stuff in general, not just because of other authors seeing them, and it might not be like the most complimentary review, which is fine. Like if a reader doesn't like a book, they don't like the book, and that's fine. Sometimes people get a lot of really good things out of a review, saying, "Well, I didn't like this, this, and this," and someone reading it says, "That sounds amazing. Actually, I'd love that in a book," So don't be worried about posting your genuine thoughts, because the authors are told to be on their best behavior, and if there is any issues, that's what we're here for, to kind of to jump in. And the other thing as well is, like, Jen summed up like kind of like what we're looking for with the review and everything, but you'll get some reviews that are like so well written, and they're so funny, and they're so like, you'd kind of want to read it almost as much as the book, I suppose. But you get some people that don't have the confidence to do that, and just the basic, as Jen was saying, that I like this, I wanted more of this, this is great. That's completely perfect as well. Like, you don't feel intimidated by these satirical reviews that you will see. There will be plenty of them. But as speaking with my author hat on, sometimes the best reviews are the ones that just say, "I really love this about this book. Can't wait to read the next one," or something like that.
Yeah, such a good point. Just
I just saw a comment about
Gilded Blood. You want your points to count, right? So you do have to leave a review of some type.
And how they needed more on Zane's butt. I like Zane's butt too. I'm sorry.
There's quite a lot of Zane's butt in those books, though. How much more do you need, really?
I thought so.
He's got a great butt. It's an incubus butt. I mean, can there be too much incubus butt? Incubut. There can't be.
Incubut. There you go. Incubut. Also sums up what the opening of the book as well. Incubut.
Yeah, I agree.
Perfect.
It was once Incubus because he was her boss, but now it's just Incubut. I think it's far better.
That means he doesn't have to work for it, though. So is it even really good? Like, it's just magically good. Like, this is probably the subject of our entire next discussion, is going to be whether or not Zane's butt it can actually qualify as good.
Yeah.
If he didn't work for it.
Is he doing squats? Is he doing like 50 squats in sets of
I don't know. I mean, spoiler alert, he's only half incubus, right? So he's got to work a lot harder than the other incubi. So I don't know. We can chat about this offline. I'd be really happy to talk about Zane's nether regions for sure.
This is really why people came to this episode to
meat and potatoes. Yeah.
Like, a little bit on IFA and then a deep dive into Zane's butt. Really what these things are all about. This is sort of the type of conversations that go on between the admins, when we have our big important business meetings.
Jen, did you just say people are coming on here for Zane's meat and potatoes? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I heard it and I was like, have I just heard that in my own head, or did that someone else?
Really, what I said, David, was the incubut is the meat and potatoes of the SRC. Okay. But the way you phrased it, honestly, is probably better. Yeah.
I would eat Zane's meat and potatoes. Anyway.
Yes. So thank you all so much for being here, taking the time out of a Monday afternoon to chat about this. On top of all the other time you give, thank you for everything you do. For the people who are watching, if you want to kick off your summer reading challenge, admin books bring bonus points. There is a spreadsheet of them, and I have a link to everybody who's on the screen in the description box. Each one has links, so go grab some books. You can kick off your adventure wheels and stuff with bonus points, and just so show a little bit of appreciation for the admin and everything you guys do. So, thank you all. Best of luck, everybody.
Happy reading.
You for having us.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, you guys.